Did you see this beauty? This is Madeleine. It's all about my childhood. Luckily, it's a beautiful mini cake cookie. It's pillowy. It has this taste of brown butter and lemon zest, and the texture is very soft. Then it has these crispy edges. I'm going to show you all the steps how to get all of this texture successfully and also the flavor. So let's get started. This is a lemon honey Madeleine. So we need the zest from a big orange and 2 lemons. We're going to need butter, milk, whole milk, organic whole milk, sugar, and good honey. Then we're going to need eggs, baking soda, and salt. I use sea salt. And of course, we're going to use all-purpose flour. So normally I weigh everything and I put it in a large tray and I put it somewhere in the refrigerator and I'm good to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to brown the butter, and then we're going to get some lemon and orange zest and we mix it with sugar. Now we're going to brown our butter. This phase is very important and it's very important to have good butter. I normally use 82% fat organic grass-fed cow butter. It has the best flavor. So we're going to melt the butter, keep cooking it until it gets brown, but not dark brown. We call it le beurre noisette, and it has this amazing nutty flavor. I don't use the debris of the butter, and also when I'm done, I weigh the butter so to make sure I have the amount I needed, because sometimes you end up with less butter than what you start with. Now we're going to grate the orange and the 2 lemon, and make sure you grate only the thin layer of the orange so you don't go all the way to the white area where the flavor is not that great. It's a little bit better. So keep that in mind. I'm using, of course, fresh organic lemon and oranges. And I'm using a lot of lemon and orange zest because I want that strong taste of the citrus. And I do mix the sugar with the orange and lemon zest, because when you put them together and you mix it so well and you put it on aside for few hours before you start mixing the batter, it does uh, help us to get a better flavor. So don't skip on this step. Then we're going to mix our dry ingredients, basically the flour, salt, and baking powder. I mix it with a whisk, that's enough. Make sure you mix it in a deep bowl so it's easy to mix everything together. So now we have everything mixed. We're ready to mix everything together. For baking, it's very important to use something super hot under the baking sheet. I'm using a pizza steel. It's quite thick. When I heat the oven, that pizza steel is inside, and it's going to give us a lot of heat for baking, which help us to get that Madeleine bump. So here we're going to brush the Madeleine pan with some soft butter. Then we put them in the refrigerator, so just while we're finishing brushing all the baking pans. I'm using the small, the medium, the large. Then we're going to get the batter out from the refrigerator after 24 hours. The batter is quite stiff, so leave it at room temperature for 1 hour, even though it's still a little bit stiff. These gadgets just help me to keep the batter um, because that container has two lids, and it's easy to use. I'm going to show you we can use just a regular pastry bag, and then we pipe the batter. You can see it's still cold. I'm using here a regular pastry bag, and you pipe the batter inside the cavity. Make sure it does not exceed half of the volume of each cavity, because these Madeleine, they're going to double in volume. And then we're going to place them on the top of that hot steel at very high, 400 degrees. The oven is quite hot, and you're going to see within few minutes the Madeleine, they're going to expand super fast. Then we're going to lower the temperature to continue baking them once you see that bump. If you don't have a pizza steel, you just use a regular pan, you put it upside down under the Madeleine pan, and that will help to give us some heat under the pan to help us to generate a perfect Madeleine. And once they completely baked, you're going to see they're brown. Remove them from the pan and put them on a cooling rack because we don't want them to steam. And I'm very happy with these Madeleine. They look absolutely amazing. And on the edges, they are crispy. Now we're done with the baking. This is the mini ones. You can see the bottom is brown. It has a beautiful bump, and the edges, they are crispy. That is a perfect mini Madeleine. And also we bake the standard Madeleine, the medium size, what I call the medium size. They're also nicely baked, beautiful. And if you're in mood for a very large Madeleine, you can do that too. And the last ones, they are my favorites. When I find out about this mold, I just love to make Madeleine in the shape of hearts. Those, they're perfect to make on Valentine, and they are so delicate and delicious. So here we go. This is what I think the perfect Madeleine. You can bake them ahead of the time, freeze them, keep them in freezer for weeks, and when you need some of them, you just put it at room temperature for a few minutes, or you just put it in the oven. They taste even better when they're warm. We're going to put some glaze on the Madeleine. I'm going to melt two type of chocolates. You do it the way you want. And I'm using those silicone mold. They are absolutely perfect for putting some melted chocolates because it's so handy, so convenient, and you get the design perfectly on the Madeleine. So luckily, this silicone mold size, it match what I have in metal. So once I place the chocolates, melted chocolates on the silicone mold, I just place the Madeleine on top of it. Just put enough chocolate so it covers completely, and let it sit at room temperature for few minutes. What I do, I just place the whole thing in the refrigerator. In few minutes, the chocolate gets hardened, and you can release it from the silicone mold so easily. Here, I use it for the small one. I didn't put enough chocolates in the mold, so that's why it looks a little bit. It's not reaching all the edges. And the Madeleine by themselves, they are delicious. They're perfect. They're already perfect. But this is just in case if you want to add some glaze or chocolates. So here I put enough chocolate to cover the whole bottom, and it was perfect. I hope you like this lesson about how to make Madeleine. I did my best to give you all the steps to be successful in making them. They're really, really delicious. They are my favorites. When I find out about this mode, I just love to make Madeleine in the shape of hearts. Those they're perfect to make on Valentine, and they are so delicate and delicious. So here we go. This is what I think the perfect Madeleine. You can bake them ahead of the time, freeze them, keep them in freezer for weeks, and when you need some of them, you just put it at room temperature for a few minutes, or you just put it in the oven. They taste even better when they're warm.